acknowledged was that somebody did go overboard on
Okay.
August 3rd. Whether he fell overboard, whether he jumped
We don't
intentionally,
know.
they're not telling us specifically. I also spoke with CENTCOM earlier, not with CENTCOM, with Navy Public Affairs earlier this week. They gave me a statement which was based on the information we have, or that leaders have so far, we have not seen an increase in suicide attempts or suicidal ideation. That's not the same as them saying there have been no suicide attempts. And
Yeah.
again, I mean, suicide unfortunately is a thing that does occur sometimes, and it's not uncommon for ships at sea.
I mean, yeah. I mean, these sailors, these Marines, are living under war conditions. They're in an active war zone, even though they're not. We're out flying jets right now. There's no question that at any moment the president could say, "All right, go," and they have to live like that, right, Ryan? They have to live with that constant state of readiness.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. One other thing I'd say is general quarters. I mean, I don't know how much time they spent under general quarters,
Mm,
but I mean, that's basically everybody's ready to put out fires from battle damage. Everybody's
sure.
ready to, fight like crazy. Everybody is basically on call, ready for action. And general quarters conditions can last for days at a time. So
Wow,
these are
that
guys going
is,
without
yeah,
sleep. Yeah.
right.
So I mean, in the context of, certainly the height of the conflict was March, early April.
Hmm.
I don't know what it has been since then. I imagine there's been some recovery. I mean, the up tempo has probably slowed a little bit, but that's not to say that things aren't tense. And so just we need to have that context and not just pretend that there are no issues or that these aren't stressful. But there is also kind of a typical military culture that's something akin to your parents saying, back in my day we went to school uphill both ways. Like there is
I,
a certain, yeah, and
you
there
know,
is a certain,
I
yeah,
understand. I mean, if I was a parent of a United States Marine and that Marine sent an email home claiming that I don't like the fact that the toilets are backing up, I'm saying, what? Why did I support my kid becoming a United States Marine if they're complaining about toilets,
right,
right?
right.
Ryan, our listener producer Eric just posted in the Dial Lounge, time to come home, but he follows it up with a question for you. Are
Hmm.
the stories we hear about overboard sailors and suicide attempts on the USS Abraham Lincoln credible? If so, why is it only one ship that it's coming from? Now, that might have something to do with the command structure of that ship. We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But Secretary of War Pete Hegseth responded to those allegations, saying that it's a bunch of nonsense. He wrote about that yesterday in the Epoch Times. Hegseth pushes back on reports of deteriorating conditions aboard aircraft carrier Lincoln. Put the link to Ryan's piece, and he's been very busy this week, by the way. Put his the link to that piece. You can go and read it for yourself. So, how do you respond to what producer Eric, the question that he posted on our Dial Interactive board?
Yeah, absolutely. A very fair question, Eric. I appreciate it. I don't think I'm in a position to say that none of these accounts are true. I think I said earlier that we have some anecdotes.
Mm-hmm.
Say we have five, 10, a dozen anecdotes. We don't know if these are representative of 5 to 10 people or 5 to 10% of a ship of 5,000 sailors
Oh,
and Marines.
is that the crew of the Lincoln? Is about 5,000 sailors and
Uh,
Marines?
Actually, I may be off. It's several thousand. I think
Okay,
it's
there you go. Well,
three or
you know
four
what?
thousand. Yeah,
That's a very small percentage of those who are unhappy in their current working conditions.
right. Yeah. So what we don't have is a full representative survey of the entire ship's crew. What we have is several anecdotes that are coming out, and this has just been in the span of a week because Navy leaders recently met with the families of the deployed troops on that ship. As far as I think there's a part two to the question of why are we just hearing it from the Lincoln and not the other ships in the carrier strike group? I think that's a fair question. Some context back with the Ford, there were some grumblings of issues at sea, and then there's a fire that broke out. We're still getting kind of some information about, or they're still investigating why that fire broke out, what happened that sidelined that ship for a couple weeks. But I mean, it's not to say that the Lincoln is the only ship that's having people on board complain that things are happening. But I do know specifically with the Lincoln, it has been at sea since December. They have not made a port call.
That's a
Typically,
long time to be at sea. That is
yeah.
a long time to be at sea. Now, yesterday, I was listening to one of the reports on Fox, and I was not aware that we actually have more firepower right now in the Middle East, ready to hit Iran, than we did during the February March activity, the military activity, Epic Fury. How where have we intensified that military firepower in the Middle East since that time?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look more at that Fox News report. I don't know for certain that that's necessarily true. I do know that we added at least one Marine Expeditionary Unit into the region. So that is, yeah, people call them mini carriers. You've got kind of a
Right.
small, it's basically a squadron worth of strike aircraft. So, it's a few extra F-35s. Um, I don't know necessarily that there has been a specific increase. We have probably cycled new troops, new units, new capabilities into the region. Yeah, I mean that's about all I can really say specifically as to that report.
Yeah, and I think when that was done, Ryan, tell me if I'm wrong. There was the possibility that Karg Island would be invaded by those Marines. We were going to take Karg Island. I think that is sort of off the planning board now, but that's why that was so. Correct.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily that a decision was ever. I'll push back. President Trump definitely talked about taking Carg Island, whether that was a ruse, whether that was misdirection. It very well might have been. But yeah, there was a lot of talk about, we've got these extra Marines, extra airborne paratroopers in the region, potentially for that reason.
We've got much more to talk about with Ryan Morgan, who is the Pentagon military reporter for the Epoch Times. Ryan wrote an interesting piece yesterday on a drone attack task force in the Middle East. We're going to talk to him about that as well as what's going on with Cuba. Could we invade Cuba? Could it be Bay of Pigs too? Let's find out. Ryan Morgan is joining us, and we'll be back to talk more with Ryan on Your News Talk America. Digital Interactive Friday continues after this.